From Northern Illinois, the Huskies have come a long way to Southwest Michigan, just north of the Windy City, to face off against the Western Michigan Division I Stallions of the American Collegiate Hockey Association. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your play-by-play commentator for tonight's game, Mike Sharippa. We do apologize if you saw any streams previously. We were going over a few tech issues trying to get this microphone to work, but I do think we got it figured out now. And tonight, the Western Michigan Division I Stallions, like I said, will be taking on the Northern Illinois University Huskies as we get ready to start the national anthem here in just a moment. As we get ready to get this game underway. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that did not hear, your starting lineup for tonight's game for the Western Michigan University Division I Stallions. Starting on forward, number 27, Tyler Fortson, number 24, Rory Niche, and number 23, Mitchell Goodman. Your defense, number 16, Garrett Driscoll, and number 96, Sidney Pratt. And finally, starting between the pipes tonight for your Western Michigan Stallions is number 40, Chris Mazurek. Both goaltenders on each side ready. Linesman, puck in hand. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Stallions hockey. The draw there to be won off center ice by Northern Illinois. That one to be played off a body. Niche there to challenge, but instead it's picked up by Fortson and dumped down low into Northern Illinois zone. Stallions trying to work the puck, finds its way back to Fortson here along the hash marks. As that one's drawn back to Niche. Niche looking for his defense, and that one will go just outside the zone. Float its way down into the hands of Mazurek, and the Stallions will have to restart back from their defensive end. Driscoll there looking for Pratt as the shot goes on, and that one goes off of Mazurek and out of play. Face off to be taken down low. Just under a minute played in this period. Northern Illinois already starting off strong. One shot on net, one face-off one. But now we're tied at one as Mills will take the puck on that one. Looking out for Elric on this one. Northern Illinois pass in front of their own net. Dangerous territory there. Well, that'll get picked up by the defense and carried out. Big cross-ice pass as Northern Illinois goes farther south into the offensive zone. Defense able to keep that one in on the line. The shot goes off of Mazurek's pad. Northern Illinois still holding possession here at the blue line. Defense manages to keep that one in, but Elric will find possession. Was looking on that one, but the icing will be called based on the official's decision. Elnick looking for a Pood there on that break. And this drop will be taken at center ice. The officials there appear to be redacting on their icing call, saying, nope, that shouldn't have been an icing. We're going to put this right back at center ice and make things right for both teams here. Egner looking in front and a potential shot there. But unfortunately, Thorhog unable to get a hold of the puck. Now left back for Mills. Mills looking for Yorkin as that one to get brought back around back to Elnick. Northern Indiana will just dump that one right back in. Picked up now by Puchner. Puchner looking to find a way out, but Northern Illinois keeps that one in and keeps it south. Brought back behind the net for Puchner. Looking to find its way out, and they'll get one touch to prevent an icing, but now Northern Illinois from their own zone. Now when it gets sent in, Northern Illinois will look for a change. Puchner trying to pick that one up, and instead be left for DePoit. And another icing to be called there. That one will not be taken back to the center ice face-off spot. Actually brought all the way down to the Stallions' defensive end. Stallions will win that draw. It'll be brought back to Jamison Bain looking for Puchner. Puchner still with possession, trying to find his way up through two bodies. Play will be onside, and Northern Illinois will maintain possession. Our first line offense and second line defense hitting the ice now for the Western Michigan Stallions. As Northern Illinois looks to find their way out of their own zone. And a dump to send it deep. Looking for Fortson. Be brought back to Niche, brought back to Fortson. Fortson to fire that one in deep, and that one will get chased down by Goodman. Goodman followed by Niche. Niche looking for Fortson. Fortson unable to hold control. Northern Illinois finds their way out. That will be picked up by Driscoll, and that one will be sent back for Pratt. Pratt looking for Driscoll. Once again behind the cage. Gets pressured. Looks for his defensive partner, looks for Fortson. Fortson unable to hold it. Niche unable to get there. Now Niche to go in for a change. Northern Illinois looking for a way in. Walker to separate that one. Fortson still maintaining pressure. Now getting brought back to Pratt and Driscoll. A shot to go off of the pad of Mazurek. Almost back again behind the cage. Collision down by the hash marks and eventually get brought up for the Stallions looking for Fortson. Right behind him is Apud to pick it up. Walker looking back for Apud. Apud now back behind the cage. Looking up the hash marks for his defense. Pratt will be the one to carry that one down. Pratt to Niche, a shot, and that one just wide. Puchner tries to keep that one in. He'll succeed. But eventually Northern Illinois will carry it out on their own. Shot to go on. Mazurek to stop that one with the stick and send that back out to the corner, looking for Pratt. Digging with Pratt is Walker there in the corner. As Walker manages to maintain possession and find his way out looking for Thorog. Now making his way into the offensive zone, almost finds a shot, and he'll get pressured by two. Walker on out in front, looking for one more to shot, and that one to go back down to the corner. Defense wanted that one to go back south into the zone, but Northern Illinois, the Huskies would probably be just a better one for it, so that way I don't get my states confused. That one being upheld at the blue line by Yorkin. Carry back now for Puchner, who looks for Mills, his defensive partner. Egger to lead the pressure on that one with Yorkin, as now the Huskies make their way into the attacking zone. One pass and a shot potentially to go on, another pass out in front, but Mazurek reads it, the pass unable to be made. Huskies now back behind the cage. Looking for a chance on net here with a pass behind, he shoots, he scores! The Huskies will be the first on the board with just over 14 minutes left to play here in the first period. Unfortunately, no defense there, able to cover the back door. Mazurek unable to stretch across in time. Northern Illinois, because of that, will be able to get on the board early. Stallions will win that draw, though. Back to Puchner. Off the draw from DePoint. That icing will be washed off the touch. It'll be picked up by Jamison Bain. Carries it out of his defensive zone into the neutral zone now. Intercepted by the Huskies. Huskies look for a drop pass. It'll be intercepted by Puchner. Puchner looking back for DePoint, and DePoint looking up for, I do believe that is Cam Dames, the freshman extra skater. That's why it took me so long to find his name. Could not see him high up on the roster. The extra skater making, one of two extra skaters making their appearance tonight. Puchner with a big hit behind the cage. Huskies still with possession. A shot fired. That one to go off. A rebound, scores! A rebound off the pad of Mazurek finds its way to the back of the net. And no less than 60 seconds later, Huskies with another one on the board. Still over half of this period left to play. And you know what they say, folks? 2 is the worst lead in hockey. This could be a sign for the Stallions. Let's see what Tyler Fortson can make of it as he finds his way into the attacking zone. Fortson up in front, looking for a shot. That one goes off the goaltender and right back out in front. Niche wanted the rebound, was unable to take control. Now that one picked up by Driscoll. Driscoll looking forward as it'll get carried in by Goodman. Goodman looking for Fortson, almost picked up by Niche. Left back again for Driscoll, who sends it in. Stallions have to regroup here on an offside. Defense is pressured by Fortson. Now once again by Goodman. Huskies to break into the zone, gets picked by one of the Western Michigan Stallions. Fortson almost to carry that one out, and looking for a poke check is Goodman, who now goes in for a change. It's picked up by Driscoll in the defensive zone. Carried out and intercepted by Northern Illinois. Huskies move their way into the zone, past one, past two, behind the cage, looking for a pass. Can't find connection on the stick, and that'll get picked up by Pratt and brought back behind the cage. That one dumped out and into the neutral zone, picked up by Northern Illinois. 2 Stallions there to intercept. And 4 to get through to get to the net. The shot to go on and off the shoulder of Mazurek. Is that one to get carried out by Walkner, now looking for Apud. Apud looking forward to Elnick. Elnick tries to find a toe drag. We get poke check to the center. A shot, and that one to go off the goalie's blocker. Eli Puchner, the freshman from St. Louis Park, Minnesota, with that shot. Almost with a potential rebound. As that'll get carried back. Another shot fired and another shot saved by Chris Mazurek. Shots are currently 8-3 this period in favor of Northern Illinois. As that one will get carried back behind the cage, picked up by Mills. Mills to bring that one out looking for Thorhog. Thorhog unable to maintain possession as that'll get brought back in by the Huskies. That one intercepted by Puchner. Another big hit made by Puchner there at the center dot, and a save made by Mazurek from a shot in the corner. Huskies maintaining it in the corner of their attacking zone. Defense unable to keep that one into the blue line as they get pressured by Yorkin. Northern Illinois still looking for a breakaway in. Thorhog keeps it at his feet, looking to Mills. Mills tries to go far north with it, but winds up bobbling. That one gets sent off to Yorkin. Yorkin to send that one away, and now gets sent back in by the Huskies. As Puchner takes it back behind his own cage with one pressure. Puchner looking for Thorhog. Finds its way to Fortson. Back to Thorhog. Now into the attacking zone. Here comes Fortson to help Thorhog down at the hash marks. Fortson with it. Moving down to the corner. Looking off for the defense. Finds Mills. Mills with a shot, and that one to go just wide of the net. A rebound almost tucked in. Huskies will hold on. .9:52 left to play here in the first period. Garrett Driscoll and Jamison Bain out on defense. Your first line, Tyler Fortson, Rory Nish, and Mitchell Goodman. Now out on the ice also. Fortson tries to find possession there in the corner. But Northern Illinois will find their way out. Jamison Bain to pick that one up. Bain wind up losing possession. Pass incomplete because of Tyler Fortson's body in front there. That one picked up by Nish. He's unable to keep control, but now it's off to Goodman, who cuts through center ice, looking for Fortson out at the wing. Fortson is able to avoid one body, but not able to avoid losing possession. As now the Huskies potentially looking for a breakaway. Driscoll there to shut that down. Pass to come in, and it's intercepted there by Mazurek with the glove, who intercepts the second rebound coming in and now drops behind the cage. Driscoll there to challenge too. Nish there to help him. As the wraparound shot comes on, that one to go off the stick of Mazurek out to the opposite corner. Fortson, that one to block a shot off his ankle. And Western will go in for a change. Like Rory Nish throwing his hands up, wanting a call from the official there. Don't know what call he may be referring to. Perhaps it's this icing call that will be made based on the official's decision. There you go, Rory. You got your icing. Are you happy? I know I would be. Draw to be won by Western. Now in the possession of Pratt. Looking down for another and a shot, and that one just redirects. Western looking for another shot to go on, and that one to go just wide. Now looking for Puchner. Puchner back behind. Wants another one. The one-timer goes off his skate. That one to be sent back in there by Pratt. Picked up in the corner by Walker. Challenged by 2. And now left for Apud. Delayed penalty coming up, and it looks like it'll be a slashing call. As of right now, unsure if it will be to Northern Illinois. The Huskies with a 2-minute minor penalty for slashing near Western Michigan University Stallions will be on their first power play of the game. 7 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in the first period. Shots currently, Northern Illinois 9, Western Michigan University 5. Fortson with it on the draw. Comes up to the top of the slot with a shot, and that one goes off the goaltender's stomach and bounces out. Northern Illinois tried to clear that one. But Fortson to keep possession. Now looking for the defense with a shot. That one to go off a stick and pop back out. Now Apud looking back for Tyler Fortson. And that would get played out of the attacking zone. Western Michigan forced to regroup. Fortson over to Bain. Bain looking potentially for Walker. Will find his way back to Fortson. Fortson holding possession there at the blue line. Finds its way over to Jamison Bain once again. Another shot goes on, and that one off the pad and down to the corner. Walker to pick that one up. Back now behind the cage. Looking for Niche. Back out to Walker. Now back over to Fortson. Fortson now at the hash marks. Looking for a shot, and that one to go just wide. Northern Illinois to ice that puck. 60 seconds here left on the power play for Western Michigan, as they'll go for a change, and Jamison Bain will take it behind his own cage, waiting for Western to reset. Over now to Brubaker-Egner. Thorhog challenged by 1. Brubaker-Egner there to help him, but Northern Illinois still able to win that fight in the corner. So that puck will be held on the boards. Picked out now by Western. Picked up by the defense. Another shot goes on. He scores! Western Michigan have their first goal on the board, and it's a power play goal from Aiden Yorkin. The pass, shoot, score setup that the Coneheads always told us about in Miracle finally finds its way onto Western Michigan University ice. And now Western Michigan, with 6:27 left on the clock in the first, will cut the lead in half. Northern Illinois to win that draw there at center ice, but Western Michigan soon to take possession. It'll be picked up by Driscoll. Looking out for Yorkin, and out for another, and a shot goes on, and a save made by Masaryk. I'll tell you what, the first 14 minutes of this game, Masaryk has been very strong on his pads, on lower shots, and on those higher shots has been really good on his catcher glove. His blocker glove also getting a little bit of action, but catcher glove is starting to be a little more prominent. He's been performing really well this first period. Looking forward to making him sound good for the next 2. As the Huskies look for a way in, it'll be picked up by Puchner. I'm sorry, that's Driscoll. Read that number wrong. Western Michigan to bring it out of the zone in possession of Travis Thorhog. Northern Illinois now from their own defensive end to carry that one out through the defense. But Pratt will wind up starting the play to break that one out, and now going in for a change. Northern Illinois finds their way in, and a big hit coming in from Eli Puchner there at open ice, wanting to send a message. And a hooking penalty here coming up for the Western Michigan Stallions on number 2, A.J. Hull. This goes along the lines of something that my father taught me years ago, and that's you can't do that. A.J. Hull there to go for the stick lift. Wound up losing his balance, finds its way up into his opponent's armpit. Unfortunately, you can't put your new Bauer stick there. Doesn't go in people's armpits. It goes in your hands, respectfully. Western Michigan, just as quickly as they gained their first power play, will now gain their first penalty kill of the game. Final quarter of the period left to play, 5 minutes remaining. As Northern Illinois looks to start something quick, but Chris Mazurek between the pipes to make that quick save off that shot from the defense. Chris Mazurek so far facing 11 shots and 9 saves. The sophomore from Batavia, Illinois. And I'll tell you what, for a young man standing at 5'9", he is making that net seem impossible to hit. Northern Illinois with it in their own zone. Goaltender will make a save, bring it off to the defense, and now to carry it up through the neutral zone into the attacking zone. Picked out by Mills, and Thorog to dump that down for an icing. Goaltender to play that out from the goal line. Now left for the Huskies, back on attack again. Yorkin down in front. Left for Driscoll to go back behind the cage. Pratt soon to follow. Now here comes Niche with one hit. Separate the opponent from the puck. Picked up by the defense still. Dumped down low. Yorkin still working his best to keep it out of the house, and he'll do just that. Carried out of the zone, looking potentially for Niche. A shot goes on, and that would go off the pad. Back down behind the cage. Yorkin still wanting possession of that. Willing to challenge not one, not two, but 3 players for it. As the Huskies will take that one out of their attacking zone, or out of their defensive zone, down into their attacking zone. Thorhog looking to find his way out. They potentially have a tiny headlock there, but looks like he led up just a second soon enough. So back behind their own cage. Their shot goes on, and a pad save from Chris Mazurek. Northern Illinois still working their way around the Stallions' defense. Pratt there to challenge. Thorog there to help him. That's brought back behind the cage. Northern Illinois still with possession. Challenged by Driscoll. Now challenged by Gruda. The second of the extra skaters tonight. Western Michigan now back at full strength. The shot goes on, and a save from Mazurek's pad. Northern Illinois will struggle to keep that one in the attacking zone. Elnick right behind him in a challenge. As he'll get challenged by 2 players on the attack. A shot on and a body in front to protect Mazurek from making that save. Northern Illinois still with possession, and that one will hit the linesman on the way in. That one left back for Walker. Walker finds a shot, and that one goes off a body. Apud to pick up that one in the corner, looking up for his defense. Another shot on, and that one off another body in front. Northern Illinois find their way out of their defensive zone and eventually cut off by the Stallions' defense. And a penalty coming up. It appears to be a holding call. Did not see this one. We'll have to see which team winds up finding their way in it. And it will be another Stallions power play, as the Huskies will find themselves in the box once more for holding. 2:05 left on the clock here in the first period. Meaning if no goals are scored, if no Stallions goal is scored, we will have 5 seconds remaining of 5-on-5 here in the first period. Until then, Western Michigan Stallions on the power play. Picked up by Puchner off the draw. Now looking back to his defensive partner. Back down to Puchner. Puchner wanting to go to the middle. Potentially looking for Elnick. But that one will get cut off by a body. Icing from Northern Illinois will bring it down to the defensive zone for the Stallions. It'll be picked up by Thorog. Drop back, looking for Puchner again. Puchner with a couple different options. He'll find his way into the zone all on his own. Thorog there to challenge in the corner. Teammates come out to help him. Thorog still down in the corner, trying to find his way out. Now back behind the cage, looking again for Puchner is Elnick. That one deflected off of Illinois. That one deflected off an Illinois stick. Yorkin to carry it from behind his own cage now, looking to set up another Stallions attack. Coming in at full speed, is able to get past one. Now down to the hash marks. Stuck down in the corner, pressured by two. A little assistance there coming from, I believe, is Tyler Fortson. Elnick back up at the blue line now to pick this one up. Couple options. He looks to Fortson. Fortson tries to cut in. Potentially looking across, and he'll walk it across the blue line, wanting to find a shot. That one just off the toe of the pad. Northern Illinois just barely able to get to that one. What a save that was. What a shot from Tyler Fortson. Face-off to take place in Northern Illinois' defensive zone. 43.7 seconds left on the clock. 38 seconds left on the penalty, or left on the power play, excuse me. And carrying it now is Jamison Bain. Bain loses his footing, and it winds up being a breakaway for Northern Illinois, and a save made by Chris Mazurek on the breakaway. Chris Mazurek shuts down the one-on-one in the split butterfly position to keep the Stallions within one. And now carrying out his defensive end again is Jamison Bain, who winds up getting his pocket picked. Now Northern Illinois holding it in their defensive zone for the final 3 seconds, as an icing will be called with half a second left here on the clock. I wish I was making that up. There is actually 0.5 seconds left on the clock. It appears as though the officials are working the clock back to put 1.5 seconds back on the clock. So we will have a second and a half, excuse me. English is straying from me today. We'll have 1.5 seconds left in the clock here in the first period, which means we'll have time for just about this puck drop, and that's it. And another shot to go on there just as the buzzer goes off there from Fortson. And that will be the first period. You're scoring after one. Northern Illinois University, your visiting Huskies, are leading on the Stallions 2-1. And your shots, 14-12. Once again in favor of Northern Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a 15-minute resurface and a 15-minute intermission before our second period starts. This is about the time where I put the microphone down and give my voice a break. For all those of you watching at home, do not go anywhere. We will be right back with your second period of Western Michigan University D1 Stallions hockey. With the final 60 seconds winding down from intermission, we prepare to start the second period here at Lawson Ice Arena. Now, I do want to apologize. I have heard from some of our fans here in the stadium that we were having some technical difficulties in that the microphone kept cutting out. So I have worked around the technology. I have attempted to find a solution to this problem in hopes that it is a problem no longer. Now, I would say if anybody in the chat could tell me if it's working, I would. But one, I can't see chat, and two, there is no chat. It's disabled. And here we go. Boards banging. Clock is set to 20 minutes and 8 seconds for some reason. Now it's set to 20 minutes. And we get the second period underway. Draw to be won by Western Michigan University, picked up by Driscoll. Brought down to the defensive zone. Picked up looking for Goodman. Goodman looking for Niche. Niche looking for Fortson. Fortson to drop it back to Goodman, but Goodman gets caught up there by the defense. It'll get sent back in by Driscoll. Sent on by Driscoll, too, even. As the Huskies will play that one out of their defensive zone. Goodman looking to make defensive possession there. Sent back looking for Driscoll. Driscoll stopping that pass out in front. Also, that one touched by Mazurek in net to prevent that one from going to the crease. Pratt looking for a backward pass behind the cage to Driscoll. Driscoll looking out for Fortson. He'll get cut off. Goodman tries to get the pickup, and instead he'll get picked up by Pratt. Sent in so the Stallions can get a change. Walker back to the defense, looking for Fortson. Fortson moving in with Apud and Walker. Shot to go off of a stick and back out to the corner. As now the Huskies will carry it out of their defensive zone once more. Picked up by Mills. Mills sends that one in. It's beyond the red line. And an icing will be waived as Western Michigan attempts to keep this offensive push rolling. Northern Illinois carries it out across the blue line. Can't get it past Mills. As that one gets sent out by Alejandro Apud. Looking for Elnick. Across from Walker. Now back down and over to Puchner to send that one in. Apud looks to intercept behind the cage. He'll find possession. Looking back up to defense for Mills. Mills able to keep that in the zone just barely with Elnick there to help. And now Apud sent down to the corner. Press on that challenge. And an icing will be called on Northern Illinois based on the official's decision. And play will be sent down face-off to be presented in Northern Illinois' defensive zone. I do apologize if you keep hearing weird little breaks in my speaking. I'm looking down at this little green light to make sure it's still lighting up every time I talk so you guys can hear me. Though my voice is not as important as these guys playing, so. Northern Illinois now in the neutral zone looking for a pass out in front, and to make the save is Mazurek. Split the pads and a penalty potentially coming up here. Stoppage in play off of the possession of Western Michigan. Sorry, no penalty. The net to come off there off of Mazurek's save. This is the part you guys can say that the play-by-play commentator has no idea what he's talking about. Stallions to carry that one out of the zone off a win off the draw. Picked up by Thorag now along the wing with a shot, and that one to go just wide. Puchner just outside the defensive zone looking back for Mills. Mills to send that one in. Another shot in off the pad. Now behind the cage is Northern Illinois. Thorag looking out front for Elric, who shoots, and that one to be saved. Another shot, that one to go just high. Picked up now by Thorag in the corner. Looking up for Puchner, another shot to go off. That one just barely stays in the zone after a Northern Illinois stick got in the way. Puchner still wanting possession. Northern Illinois eventually finds themselves in the attacking zone. Shot goes on. It's saved by Mazurek off the blocker. Now back behind the cage is Mills. Looking for Yorkin. Yorkin to find his way out potentially on a pass there to Puchner, but unable to pick it up. Mills now in the defensive zone along the hash marks. That one to get played out into the possession of Northern Illinois. And they'll be back to reset. Northern Illinois finds a pass in, but there to pick off that pass is Eli Puchner. Eli Puchner, the freshman from St. Louis Park, Minnesota, we highlighted him earlier, has been having incredible forecheck potential recently, as well as his back check, getting back to his defensive position. And also remaining a great ally on offense, and another great split save by Chris Mazurek. Mills to cut off that pass. Gruda to cut off the second one, and now down low behind the cage. Still is Eli Puchner. Another shot to go on, that one to go just high over Chris Mazurek, though he had his glove ready. Along the hash marks now are the Huskies. Back up to the hash marks. Another shot to go on, and a goal. Just past the toes of Mazurek will find its way into the lower corner, and that'll put Northern Illinois University Huskies up 3-1 against the Stallions. Especially on tight offensive battles like that, just behind the net, wrapping into the corner, it is imperative to keep bodies in front and prevent those passes from being made. Those small passing plays where the puck moves faster than the players, Tendy has a hard time tracking it. But if you get bodies in front, those passes can't be made, and those saves come along easier for your goaltender. A little something for the Stallions to have going forward. As now another shot goes on to Mazurek to play out to the corner. Potentially another goal coming. Another shot, and that one to go high there from Northern Illinois. Still down to the corner with it, looking for a centering pass out. No connections made there. Light shot on. Won't even get to the goaltender. As that one now get picked up by Fortson. Fortson moving in with his usual line. Goodman and Niche. Goodman looking back for Fortson. Fortson with a shot, and that one goes off a glove and just behind the net. That one is sent back in by, I believe that is Jamison Bain, and that one was off a body. Stays at the top of the circle till Northern Illinois can carry that one out. Back out again for Bain, looking for Fortson. Walker tries to intercept. I do believe that was Alejandro that went up for that one. But now it's left back for Walker in his defensive zone. Walker looking for Elnick. Coming up, center ice is Elnick, unable to maintain possession. Not Fortson. Alejandro Apud tries to poke that one out. Northern Illinois still maintaining possession. Drawing it back to their defensive zone now. Apud goes for a hit there. A shoe pan sign, and another hit to be made there by Ryan Elnick. Picked up by Pratt. Looking back around for Puchner. Puchner looking up for Apud. Apud tries to find his way up. Potentially looking for a pass out, but nobody there to pick that one up. As a body will intercept. Another shot to go on to Chris Mazurek, and a save made. .13:45 remaining here in the second period. Your shots so far now totaling these past almost period and a half. NIU 21, WMU 14. Pratt back with it in the corner after a win off the draw from the Stallions. A weird bounce off the glass, and Thorhog still able to pick that one up. Moving in with Yorkin. Yorkin with a shot. That one to go off the blocker and back out to the corner. Yorkin unable to pick that one up off the ricochet, but Puchner able to tip that one back to Pratt, and it looks like we have a delayed penalty coming up here for NIU. Thorhog looks for a back pass. NIU will pick that one up, and a penalty will be called. The call made on the ice, waiting for the signal here. It appears to be charging, if I am not mistaken. And I am not. Rolling fists would be the signal there for a charging penalty on Northern Indiana, or Northern Illinois. Darn it, I did it again. I do not mean to disrespect the Huskies by getting the wrong state in there. I do apologize. It's personal stuff. I'm dating a girl from Indiana, and a lot of my friends are from Illinois. I know a lot of people from those states. It gets confusing. Another shot to go on, and that one goes off the pad. Still loose out in front. Left back for Fortson. Fortson back up to his defense. Looks for another shot, and that one goes off a body in front. Already a strong start to the power play here for the Stallions. Jamison Bain looks to give it back to Walker. Looking it back again for Bain, but it's picked up by Fortson. Now on the attack. Fortson with a Pood. Looking potentially for Goodman. Sorry, not Goodman, Niche. That's who's on the line with him. Another shot from Bain, and that one goes off a body. And that one will get played out. Masaryk coming out of his own net to play this one past the opposing offense from the Huskies. And another shot to go on and just high. Apoud picking it up now. Looking back for Yorkin. Yorkin looking for his second. Already has one tonight for the Stallions. Yorkin still with possession down in the corner. Looking for passing options, but is getting cut off by the defense. Looking for Fortson, but Fortson making a reach for that pass, unable to control it. Is now Puchner. Looks again for Yorkin. That one to go off a body off a Husky. That play will be deemed onside. Elnick to play that one down. This one will get picked up again by Yorkin. Yorkin maintaining possession with 30 seconds left on the penalty. An open ice hit coming there from Northern Illinois. Is that going to get played by Puchner back from Elnick. Puchner now around the cage. Looking for Yorkin up top. Gets one to drop, fakes the shot, goes back down low, looking for, I do believe that is Brubaker Egner. But now out to Thorog at the hash marks. Puchner to intercept the opposition there. Elnick tries to keep that one in. And it will get played back here for the Stallions' defensive end to Yorkin. A tip on from the Stallions will negate the icing. Penalty has expired, and puck will be held in Northern Illinois' defensive zone. "11 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in this second period. At this point is where I would send us down to ice side with Ray Ferraro, but Ray Ferraro's out here, and we can't afford ice side, so y'all are just stuck with me. Stallions with another shot to go just wide. It's loose out in front, and it's kicked out by the defense, who end up finding a pass up. Can't get it past the Stallions defense, though. A stick is lost there from Pratt as another pass out in front, cut off by Goodman. And that would get played out by Niche. And as now the Stallions look to set up a counterattack, Goodman there to pressure, Niche there to follow him. Fortson to keep it in at the line is pressured by 3. And now Driscoll looking back again for Pratt. Sends it back up to the offense. Fortson have a little bit of a tussle there towards the top of the blue line, towards the middle of the blue line. Another shot to go on. Another save made by Chris Mazurik. Excuse me. Did I just say Matt? I did. I just called him an NHL player's name. It's the first time I've done that. Put it down the record books. Mills with a big hit behind the cage. Trying to separate puck from player there. As the Huskies still maintain possession. Driscoll there to challenge. Now down in the corner is Niche. There on the cycle. Fortson out there also. Goodman tries to get in front of that one. Another shot on. And Masaryk with the save. Now back down to the corner is Driscoll. Driscoll with a little help from Niche sends it up to Fortson. Huskies unable to keep it in their offensive zone here. Sent back to regroup. Mills now to Driscoll. Driscoll trying to find his way out. Walker there to help him. As it's sent back up to Elenick. Elenick looking for Goodman. Almost finds the stick of Walker. Goes right back to Mills. Mills off the dasher. Finds his way in, and an icing call will be made and sent back down to Western's defensive zone. I don't know if anyone else saw that on the camera, but the official who just made that icing call with the delayed hand had a broken stick in his delayed hand. So I'll be honest, if you don't see a delayed hand with that height, you may be legally blind. Elnick off the draw to try and stop that shot, but it goes just wide anyway. Mills to dump that one up and out again. Another potential icing, but Walker is able to win the race. Picked up there by Elnick. Another shot on to go off the stick. Apud to send it down in the corner. Looking potentially for Walker on the opposite side of the cage, but he'll swing it back up the wing. Looking back down for Walker. Walker looking back for Apud in the center, unable to maintain possession. Walker finds it again, though. Now it's back to Mills. Mills with a shot, and that one just off the stick. Puchner now with possession. Another shot. That one off the stick again, just now lower on the pad. Wide shot comes around looking for another shot coming from Mills, and that one goes high into the dasher. Walker trying to win the battle there in the corner, finds its way around Apud also. Now it's back to Puchner. Puchner to find his way to Apud. Apud to get challenged by one. Pass out to Puchner again. Another shot, and that one goes off the glove. Looking back now for Elnick, who just had that shot, and now for Brubaker-Egner. Back up to Mills. Brubaker-Egner almost wanted to get a tip on that one. Thorog with a shot, and that one in the glove. I don't know if this is a Stallions game or the county fair, because we just witnessed a shooting gallery down in northern Illinois zone. Couple of words coming back and forth, going to players there. .7:51 left to play here in the second period. Players and fans getting a little antsy here tonight. Another shot, and that one to go just high. Northern Illinois attempting to play it out of their own zone. Brubaker-Egner now with possession and a whistle to stop play. As I do believe on that one, the puck just got lost. Actually, apologies. We will have a penalty here. It looks like coming to number 29, Aiden Yorkin. The sophomore out of Denver, Colorado, already has one goal on the night. And now with 2 minutes on the clock, for those of you thinking he can get a Gordie Howe hat trick, he cannot. The ACHA does not allow fighting. Or was a Gordie Howe hat trick a goal assist in a fight? Might need to remember. Stallions now on the penalty kill. Thorog tries to clear it out of the corner. It'll get picked up by the defense. Now along the hash marks, looking for a pass down low. That one picked up by Driscoll. A shot goes on. Mazurek there to make the save. Now back up to the blue line. Defense looking for another way in. Passes will get made. A shot goes on, and Mazurek makes the save. A diving save across the paint, and Mazurek picks it up off the pillow. Is now the Huskies looking for another. That one off a body will find its way off the glass. Now back up to the blue line. Stallions defense still holding strong, and a body to get in front of that shot. Won't even find its way to the net. And that'll be Luke Gruda, the one of two designated skaters tonight, to take the body for that one. Another shot that goes on. Mazurek already down in the split position, and that shot to go high anyway. 49 seconds left here on the clock for the penalty kill. Northern Illinois wants to find that upper corner, but Mazurek shuts him down. Now from the lower corner, shot goes on. Another save by Mazurek off the neck, and that ice is going to be fanned, but then played out. 30 seconds left. The Stallions will go for a quick change, and so will the Huskies. Fresh legs on the ice makes for fresh plays as Northern Illinois finds their way back into the attacking zone. Puchner to pick that attack off. Pratt there to assist him. Niche now sitting up top. Another shot on and a save made by Mazurek. Listen, now, I don't want to brag about this goaltender too much, but 30 shots and 27 saves before the second period has even concluded, I have to say, is astonishing. Chris Mazurek standing on his head tonight for the Stallions. We are still, unfortunately, down by 2. And now with the penalty expires, Niche looking for Yorkin, who just came out of the penalty box. Yorkin wants to find his way in, can't find it past the one defender. Fortson there to help him. Niche unable to get back to that one. Instead get picked up by the defense. Pukner. Goodman now looking for Pratt. Pratt unable to keep possession. That one left again for Niche. Goodman. Now down low, assisted by Fortson there on the pressure. Northern Illinois to clear that one out. It's picked up by Pukner. Tries to clear that one out, and that will get bodied off a ref. Almost another shooting opportunity for Northern Illinois, but no shots to come of it. And now the hands coming for the first line. Tyler Fortson with a shot, and that one goes off the goaltender and bounces out in front. Unable to make the rebound there is Niche, who was getting stick lifted, but now Pukner, and with his own opportunity, a pass made, and unfortunately no one there to catch it. Again, Niche tried to be there, but just fanned on the way in. That one off the glass and out. And offside to be called there by officials, as that offside may be deemed intentional, and it will be carried all the way down to the defensive zone for the Western Michigan Stallions. Western Michigan to win that draw. Driscoll looking for Mills, and Mills looking to clear that one out. Apud there to assist there along the boards. But now Driscoll tries to find its way to Elnick and then to Walker. Will get intercepted, find their way back down into the front of the house there in their defensive zone. Mills tries to find a back pass, but that one will get intercepted by a body. He'll try it again. Finds its way to Driscoll. Driscoll looking out now for Elnick and Apud. No icing will be called. Elnick with the stick lift trying to find possession, but Northern Illinois will find the pass and find their way into the offensive zone. Now back behind the cage. Mills giving the offense a run for their money. Walker in a battle with it down to the corner. Now back up to the blue line. Intercepted by Elnick. Now again by Walker. Apud now in a one-on-one. Second one trying to find a back check. The shot goes on. That one to go wide. Apud is down but is slowly getting back up. Just knocked him off balance a little bit. Luckily no one is hurt. Now back in the defensive zone. Here comes Mills to challenge one. Potentially looking for Yorkin. Winds up finding possession off of Thorog. Bain looking to Mills. Mills looking for Brubaker-Egner. That one to go on net. Icing negated. Brubaker-Egner chases behind the cage as the Huskies find their way out of the defensive zone into the neutral zone. And Stallions will send it right back. Brubaker-Egner to challenge on that one. Player to lose his footing. That one back behind the cage in favor of the Huskies. Another big hit made there in the back by Brubaker-Egner. Jamison Bain now back on defense, preventing that pass or that shot to be made. Pass made, shot saved there by Mazurek. Defense unable to keep a hold of that one. Brubaker-Egner holds that one back in his defensive zone for Bain. Back out now for Pukner. And Pukner will get intercepted. Turnover there in favor of Northern Illinois. Pukner still attacking hard on that puck down in the corner. Northern Illinois finds their way out. Can't find much of their way in, though. That one will be dumped in past the defense. Another shot to be made, and that one hits the outside of the net. Mazurek not have to worry about making that save. The net will do it for him. That shot also to go wide. Now down to the corner, back behind the cage, still in favor of the Huskies. Challenge, though, by Niche. Huskies now at the hash marks. Closer to the tops of the circles. Looking for a D-to-D pass. That one will come outside the zone. Challenged by Thorog. Assisting behind him is Fortson. Big hit down low on Puchner, but he seems unfazed. Another hit on Puchner, who seems unfazed once again. Northern Illinois still looking for an opportunity. And a penalty coming up here on Northern Illinois. The Broncos will be on the Stallions, forgot this is Acha, will be on yet another power play. Mazurek gets back to the bench just to be sent right back to the net. 48.3 seconds left here on the clock in the second period. And it appears Western Michigan will be carrying on a power play into the third period. That is, if nothing happens within these next 50 seconds. Another player that I'm going to highlight in this recent turn of events is on the ice right now, number 19, Ryan Elnick. And honestly, again, to number 11, Eli Puchner. Both of these guys on offensively and defensively have been very aggressive. Playing stick on stick and then body on body. Still remaining aggressive while still remaining legal. Pass to come too slow. That'll be intercepted at center ice. Picked up now by Stallions defense. Picked up by Pratt. Sent out now to Elnick. Yorkin behind trying to assist. And now sent back forward is Pratt with the final 13 seconds left on the clock. Brubaker-Egner finds possession. Now down low in the corner. Now with two challenging. Sent back out for Elnick. Elnick looking for Thorog. Thorog with a shot, and that one to go just wide. As the buzzer goes off for the second period. Northern Illinois University will find one more goal in this period, but unfortunately, these Stallions will not find any. Your scoring after two periods. Northern Illinois University 3, Western Michigan University 2. Or 1, excuse me. I was looking at the 2 because that's what the period says. Speaking of the period, the second period is concluded, and after a 15-minute resurface, we will be ready for you guys for the third period. So, ladies and gentlemen at home watching, stick around. We'll be right back in 15 minutes with period number 3. And with our final 60 seconds winding down on the intermission clock, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Your Stallions have already taken the ice. The Huskies close behind as we prepared for third period hockey. The Stallions carrying in a power play from the past period, if you weren't here. Number 67 on Northern Illinois University. I almost did it again. Northern Illinois University Huskies. I do believe 2 minutes for charging. 1 minute and 12 seconds left on that power play. The Stallions will start this first period 5-on-4. The Huskies make their way onto the ice and take the bench. And the buzzer rings, signaling the end of intermission. Now we do have an inside scoop from the locker room. The Stallions had a good talk in the locker room about these past two periods, what they've done right, what they've done wrong, and how they can turn their wrongs into rights. These boys are hyped. These boys are excited. And these boys are ready to put on a show, not just for the people in the stands here with us tonight, but for those of you at home watching. Currently just waiting for the time on the clock. "20 minutes on the board for the third period. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this one underway." Draw to be won by Western Michigan University. Tyler Fortson passing that one back to Eli Puchner. That one poked away and picked up by Walker. Walker in his own end behind the cage looking for Fortson. Looking back for Walker. Ended up finding its way to Niche. Niche looking back for Puchner. Puchner looking up for Fortson again. Fortson looking across for Niche. Now into the attacking zone come the Stallions. Puchner down for Niche. Back down for Puchner. Fans on the shot. And that one gets sent down. Looking at it. Looks like Chris Masaryk was looking for an icing call there. But no call to come. As now Puchner will hand it to Walker from behind his own cage. Walker gets poked. Niche manages to find that one in with the help of Thorag. Now Niche and Walker. Thorag to help along the sidewall again. Brought back down to the corner. Challenged by Fortson. Now with Fortson is Thorag. Thorag looking up for Puchner. Puchner now along the blue line. A fan on a shot there from Fortson. Penalty now off the board. Back to 5-on-5. Stallions find another shot. That one's off a body. Another shot, and that one goes this wide. Niche back out in front. Another shot there from Thorag, and that one goes off a body. Another shot from Walker off the goaltender, and that one back out to the hash marks. Sent back to Walker. Sent back by Walker, looking for Yorkin. Unable to make connection. Now it's picked up by Puchner at the bottom of the circles. Puchner to try and send this one out for Yorkin. Yorkin unable to find possession. There to challenge is Yorkin. Agner down in the opposite corner. And now brought into the attacking zone here by the Huskies. Driscoll down there in the corner to challenge, but to pick it up is Yorkin. Already one goal on the night. Tries to put that one down low. I do believe for A.J. Hull. Is unable to find possession there. Huskies managed to find their way out of their defensive zone. Trying to find their way into the attacking zone. And if I'm not mistaken there, I do believe Fortson just went in for a hit and sent the player into the linesman. It's the first time I've seen that happen. Northern Illinois with potential, and that one will turn into a penalty here on, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, by one Jamison Bain. That will be a penalty on Jamison Bain. for the Stallions of Western Michigan University. Huskies now on the power play. And that will be a 2-minute minor for slashing. Thorog to take the face-off here for Western Michigan. It will be one in favor of the Huskies. With it along the hash marks. Now sending it behind the goal line. Back at the hash marks, sending it to the blue line. There's a hole in his blade. Won't be able to keep that one inside the attacking zone. Now brought back to his defensive zone. Trying to intercept on that one is Gruda. As that one to get iced again by the Stallions defense. Huskies now moving it in. Thorog there to challenge. Down low is Driscoll and his defensive partner Pratt. Back down low. Huskies find another shot, and that one goes off the blocker. Back down to the corner. Huskies still with possession. Now down to the hash marks. Back up to the blue line. Now back down to the hash marks. Huskies working their way around the defense, and that one goes off the side of Chris Mazurek. Almost in on that one. Another shot almost tipped in front. Mazurek getting screened. Still there to make the save. Driscoll now down in the corner. Help from Pratt on the opposite post. Trying to handle that pass out in front is Thorog. And now moving in on the attack is Gruda. That shot stopped by Pratt off the shins. And now kept in at the blue line. Thorog unable to take possession. As now it's left back for the Huskies. Thorog will wound up getting roughed. A cross-checking call here to Northern Illinois. The Huskies will make it 4-on-4 for 22 seconds. It seems like the Husky there from Northern Illinois had something to say about that call. But no matter how much you talk about the call, no matter how much you argue it, you still wind up in the box. Doesn't necessarily do you much good. 22 seconds of 4-on-4 action. Fortson on the draw there. Unfortunately loses to Northern Illinois. That one to get picked up by Puchner there at the red line. And now Puchner to carry it in, looking for Niche. Winds up getting poked away. And now Fortson almost handling a pass from Niche right back to Niche. But that one will get intercepted. Picked up by Mills. Sends that one into the blue line. It'll be offside. The Stallions will have to regroup. Now on the power play. Northern Illinois with a pass out in front and a shot, and he scores! A pass out in front from behind the paint and a great tip over Chris Mazurek will make it a 4-1 game for Northern Illinois. On the penalty kill, no less. They will still remain a man down for the next minute and 21 seconds. But now, just under 15 minutes left to, just under 15 minutes left to play here in the third period. And once again, your score is now 4-1. Shots currently, Northern Illinois leads with 32. Western Michigan with 23. Mazurek comes out of net there to send that one down to the corner as it's going to be picked up by Puchner. Puchner looking out for Agner. Agner looking to find his way in, and a shot in. That one goes underneath the goalie's pad. Shot made, shot stopped, and that face-off to be taken down low into the zone of Northern Illinois. Just over a minute remaining here on the power play for the Stallions. Already down a shorthanded goal. As that one finds its way up to, I do believe that's Yorkin. Yorkin down to Puchner, back down to Thorag, back up to Puchner, back down to Thorag. Thorag unable to take possession. So that'll go to Brubaker-Egner. Brubaker-Egner with a shot from the point, and that one goes to the goalie's. That one goes right to the goalie's stomach. Not an easy shot to take, but in that instance, an easy shot to save. Thorag once again to take the face-off here for the Stallions. As Putner will wind up with possession of that one. Draw back down to Thorag. Thorag with a shot and a body in front of that one. Putner tries to take another, and he'll fend on it. Now it goes back down to Yorkin, who finds one more. Thorag now up at the top. Tries to get around a body. And a D-to-D pass will take it outside the zone. Putner still maintaining possession. Tries to get a pass off to Elnick. But they'll wind up losing possession there. Now it's left back for Goodman. Goodman to find his way through two. Can he find his way through the third? Yes, he can. The puck will go on net, but the goaltender will cover. That'll still be in the zone of Northern Illinois. The Stallions restless for another goal here in the third period. Shot after shot after shot they're taking, but none to any avail just yet. Northern Illinois now with it in their defensive zone. Fortin winds up with possession of that, catches it at his stomach and drops it down to himself. Through Nish and Goodman, and now Driscoll here on a one-on-one in the corner. Second shot comes in, and that one leaks through. Mazurek unable to get a good hold of that one, and that will be a goal off of the goaltender. 5-1 for Northern Illinois. Just under 13 minutes left to play here in the third period. It's those weird, awkward angles that goaltenders always beat themselves up over, but hopefully Mazurek knows that even the best goaltenders still can't make saves off of that angle. And a barrage of shots down there in the corner, down there by the post. All of them to be saving, kicked out, and eventually Northern Illinois to take that one back down into their own attacking zone. And a shot to be made and a save to be made there by Chris Mazurek. Walker to take that draw to win it back to Jamison Bain. Now back for Eli Putner. Is that one to be played up to Alejandro Apud? Apud to send that one in, and it'll be an icing. And come right back down. Do believe was looking for Elnick on that pass. But as the players say, it had a little too much sauce. Eli Putner with it off the draw. Stallions will win it in their own end. Now carried through the neutral zone again by Eli Putner. Putner looking for a back pass to Elenick. That one will come out. And now the Huskies will be on a breakaway. The fake, the shot, and that one off the blocker side. That one off the blocker side. Here for Chris Mazurek. A shot to make and a save to make also. Stallions are still struggling to break it out of their own zone from here. Another save made by Mazurek off another shot from the defense. Another one to come from the tops of the circles. Now back down towards the dot, but a body to get in front of that one. Huskies still with possession. Now back out to Thorog, and Thorog will send it back down the ice. Stallions will contest in the race. No icing to be called. Walker to make a hit down behind the cage. And now Thorag to keep it in the offensive zone. Thorog looking back down for Walker, and instead be back to Brubaker-Egner. And you're looking for a shot, and that one off the goaltender. Down to the corner with it now is Northern Illinois. Huskies try to play it out. They'll get it out of their zone. And icing will be washed on that play. It'll be picked up behind the cage by Yorkin. Yorkin to get picked by Northern Illinois. Sent back up to the blue line, now down to the dot. Tops of the circles. Huskies still hold it. Now down to the hash marks. Looking back to the defense. That one will come out. DuPoint there to challenge. Northern Illinois to take it all the way back down behind their own cage. Looking for a quick reset. Yorkin there to pressure. One sent up by Northern Illinois. Gets pressed by 2. And a shot made and a save made by Chris Mazurek in net. Just over half of this period left to play. Your Stallions started this game up by 2 or down by 2. They are now down by 4. Shots currently Northern Illinois 37, Western Michigan 28. Stallions to win that draw to Mills to take it back behind his own cage. Northern Illinois eventually winds up with possession at the tops of the blue line there. They'll get pressured by one A.J. Hall. And the puck will be carried out by Driscoll. Driscoll looking for a shot. He scores! Garrett Driscoll coming from A.J. Hall will knock the lead from 4 to 3. Just under half the period left to play. The Stallions just might have a chance. The Stallions will find another to get to the back of the twine. Will bring the lead for Northern Illinois down by 1. Another shot to go on there from Pratt. And that to be saved. Western Michigan starting to find their footing. Northern Illinois to win that one, to carry that out to the tops of the hash marks. Now down below. Looking for another shot, and that one to go off Mazurek. Sent back down low behind the net. A.J. Hall there to challenge. Northern Illinois from the defense for the top circles with a shot, and that one to be saved by Mazurek off the blocker. Covered with the glove. And face-off will resume, and play will resume after the face-off in the defensive zone. Western Michigan to win that draw. Picked up by Pratt, sent away to Puchner. Now Puchner looking for Goodman. Goodman to get cut off. Niche picks it up at the blue line, looking for Fortson. Fortson finds his way through one. Almost. Down to the corner. Fortson still maintaining possession, looking for Niche. Niche looking back to Fortson. Fortson to hand it back to Niche. Kept in at the line by the defense. Now Goodman down low. He'll face pressure from one. Back out to Fortson. Through one, through two, and is unable to keep possession as Puchner keeps that one in at the blue line. Carry back for Goodman. Goodman looking for Niche behind the cage. Niche looking to send that one out. Won't be able to take possession. Goodman sends it back up to Puchner. He won't be able to hold on. And now it'll be left back for Pratt. Pratt looking to Goodman. Looking to Fortson. Fortson looking back to Goodman. Goodman unable to take possession. Walker unable to pick that one up also. Fortson and Goodman there to sandwich a player at center ice. What a play made by the both of them as Niche goes back behind the cage. Jamison Bain goes back behind the cage trying to take it out past one. Fortson out his own blue line with a pass from Bain. Takes it up through the blue line, through the red line. Apud tries to challenge there, and that one gets sent down. Northern Illinois close on Bain's tails. Bain tries to send that one back for Driscoll. Body there to pick that one up. Now it's left for Apud behind the net. Apud looking for Elnick, and they will call that an icing. And that one will get sent back down. Still a 3-goal game here in the third period with 7.5 minutes left to play. Stallions now in their defensive zone on this faceoff. Northern Illinois to win that draw, back behind the net, and now brings it back up to the defense. Apud able to find possession and clear it away. Elnick wants to find a piece, and so does Walker, but it'll be left back for Bain. Bain looking for Apud, and Apud back to Egger. And now back over to Apud. Apud unable to maintain possession. The first game I casted for the Stallions, Apud was one of the top goal scorers of the night, but tonight just can't seem to keep the puck with him. Perhaps he needs to check his blade. I think it might be broken. Elnick to send that one in, and off the corner finds its way to the goaltender, who will hold on. And Northern Illinois will hold this one back in their own end. Draw to be won by Western Michigan. A shot to go on. Rebound. Still loose out in front. Yorkin finds it out of the corner. Tries to find his way to Mills. That one off of Mills' skate and is unable to maintain possession. Northern Illinois to clear that one out and picked up now by Puchner. And sent back down to the corner. Thorog there to chase. Brubaker Egner there to follow. Yorkin still with him. Mills tries to keep that one in, but it will be offside based on the linesman's decision. Face-off to be produced just outside Northern Illinois' defensive zone. Draw to be won by Northern Illinois. Tries to send that one north, but Puchner looks for Goodman, looks for Fortson, shot, and that one hits a body in front. Mills to send that one in down low to the corner. Looking for Goodman. Looking for Nisha. Shot on by Goodman. As the goaltender will cover that one, net will come off. And play will be stopped. Face off to resume. We down in Northern Illinois zone. Here, Huskies still up 6 shots after 3 periods. Up 6 shots and up 3 goals. Western Michigan still trying to claw their way back from this one as off the draw. Northern Illinois will win it, but Nish will get his body in front and get a shot just wide off a pass from Fortson. Now back for Mills, looking for Goodman. Goodman unable to hold it in the corners. It's brought back up to Nish. Was able to get it through 2. Now back to Goodman with a backhand shot, and that one almost to be tipped by Fortson, who now has possession and looks for a cross-ice pass to Puchner. Puchner almost gets beat, sends that one in down low to Goodman. Goodman looking for a pass out in front. Up to the hash marks. There to Fortson. Fortson over to Mills. Mills with a shot and another one to go on. And that one will get stopped by the goaltender. Defense getting a little pushy shovey there in front. But everyone knows the number one rule of defense. Don't touch my goalie. Just over 5.5 minutes left to play here in the third period as the Stallions win the draw. That shot from Driscoll to go off of a body. Now back for Hull. Hull looking across to his defense. Now over to Mills. Mills with a shot. That one to go wide. Hull looking back for Puchner. Puchner to carry that one in along the wall. Northern Illinois to win that battle behind the net. Carry that puck out to center ice, and it'll be picked up by A.J. Hull. A.J. to move that one in along the wall. Picked up by Driscoll. Another shot on, and that one will be stopped by the blocker. I'm sorry, by the catcher. Goaltender will hang on to that one. Face-off will be once again down low in Northern Illinois zone. Entering the final 5-minute mark of this game. Western Michigan Stallions down by 3 goals. Comeback difficult, but not impossible. Pratt holding on to it to possession for the Stallions, looking for a Pood. That one will wind up in the hands of the Huskies. Huskies move it through the neutral zone. A Pood to pick it up there off of a poke check. We intercepted by a body, and now stepping in is Walker with a shot off the stick. Back out in front for the Huskies. Picked up by Driscoll. Driscoll to send that one in. Walker and Elnick there to challenge. Just down low. As now Goodman tries to find a way back around, but it's off a body. Be back again for Egner. Egner back to Pratt. Looking again for Goodman. Goodman unable to keep possession, but now Pratt from the defense. Managing to maintain possession, looking for a cross-ice pass to Niche, and that'll get stopped by a body. Pratt to keep control of this one after a dump and change coming from Northern Illinois. And now sent back in by Puchner, who will skate this to the tops of the hash marks and actually wind up losing possession. Niche with it now, trying to wrap back around in front. Goaltender will hold on to it just along the post. Three and a half minutes left here in the third period. And it looks like the linesman will be telling the wingers behind the linesman to back up. Because I don't know if y'all watching at home know this. When you're that winger behind the linesman, you can't creep up on him. You can't keep up behind him. You can't do that. Another shot from Fortson, and that one to go just wide and behind the net. Another wraparound shot attempt, and that one comes back out to the defense, who finds another shot, and another shot, and that one goes back out behind the net. Fortson with another, goes off the body. Now it's left back for Goodman. Goodman looking again for Fortson. Fortson unable to find possession. He'll get poke checked away, and now it's left back for Jamison Bain. Bain looking for Goodman. Goodman will get hit, but Puchner finds his way low into the zone, and Fortson will help him out in the corner. Northern Illinois to come away with possession. Northern Illinois wanted a trip on that, but no hand to be raised. And now it's left back for a Bain on 2-on-1. Stick out in front. Still manages to find the pass. No shot to come of it, though. As Jamison Bain now clears that one out for Tyler Fortson. Brubaker Egner with him on the attack. Back down to the corner. That shot to be deflected off by a poke check. Now left off for Thorog with another shot. That one goes just wide in the corner. Now Pratt, the defensive prowess, manages to kick it back for Thorog. Thorog trying to dump that one in. It'll get stopped by a body. Brubaker Egner tries to find possession and still manages to find its way to Northern Illinois. Find a shot to go high and wide. Now back in the neutral zone. Comes back to Northern Illinois. Pressuring as Brubaker Egner and Thorog. Yorkson also there to challenge. Yorkin still challenging at it again. Brubaker Egner there to assist. Apu not too far behind. Puck finds its way out. It'll be a turnover here to Pratt. Now from Pratt over to Driscoll. Brubaker Egner wants to go for a hit, is unable to stay on his feet. Another hit there from Yorkin down in the corner. Is now A.J. Hull. I'm sorry, not A.J. Hull. Alejandro Apud. Nice to dump it back there for Brubaker Egner. Not enough power on it, however. It's now Driscoll Left back in a 3-on-1 with his defensive partner. Another shot to go on. A rebound, and that one's off the pad. Chris Mazurek with 2 phenomenal saves to keep the Stallions in it. Walker unable to find possession there off of that hit. Apud, same goes for him. He'll carry that into the zone and get hit out the hash marks. Losing possession. Now back for Northern Illinois. And a high sticking on Elnick will be called here on Western Michigan. 41.1 seconds remaining in the third period. Stallions still down by 3. Shots now tied at 39. Can you believe it? Walker to win that one for Western Michigan. From Elnick to Mills, back to Elnick, and then from Elnick down now to Puchner. Puchner will get picked off. So now it's left back for Mills. Mills finds his way out. Wind up being intercepted there. Now Apud to carry that one in for Western Michigan. Apud getting a little aggressive there on that hit. Now as it's left back for Walker. Walker tries to dump that in. It'll get intercepted off of a fan. Final 10 seconds left here on the clock. Mills attempts to intercept. One still in the zone. Walker carries it in. It'll get intercepted by a body, and that will be the game. Players will separate to their respective sides. And after 60 full minutes of contest, unfortunately this week Western Michigan will fall to Northern Illinois University. Your final score after 3 periods, Northern Illinois 2, Western Michigan 1. Shots tied at the end of this contest at 39. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for coming out with us tonight and watching at home. We greatly appreciate you being here. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike Sharippa. It has been an honor commentating for you, and we will see you guys next time live on YouTube.